let's find out how we can set some performance goals before playing our next tennis match. The subtitle of this presentation, which by the way you can find in a document form in the description of this video, is about learning how to focus on what we can actually control before we step on the court to play a tennis match. What are the controllables? Again, the juniors and seniors that have been kind of studying tennis with me know, or at least should know, I hope, that we don't consider winning one of the controllables. We wish it was one of the controllables, but it is not. It depends on a ton of factors that we do not have control over. And before stepping on the court, we really want to identify some key points to keep in mind as we play and to focus on, especially after the match is over, to evaluate the match, especially on the famous car ride home for the junior tournaments. That's something that can really hopefully help the junior and the parent have a starting point for a conversation. Now, what are those things that we can control? I set up two examples. The first example is for a younger junior player, less experienced, still working on technique. Could be under 8, it could be under 10, it could be under 12. It depends a lot on when they started playing tournaments, when they started playing tennis. But let's say that they are still focusing on the technical part of the game, that they are not completely in control yet of their technique, and that's why I decided to set the first performance goal as hitting both serves with spin, which it will require them to keep a continental grip, which if you look back in the channel you will find a lot more about. Now, before we move on to the second goal, I would like to emphasize why did I put this ... /10 instead of just a bullet point. Because let's say we write this on a piece of paper, okay? I would rather the players write it down themselves on a piece of paper, so that after the match is done, maybe even on a diary, on a little book, on a journal, that they can write down their performance goals, and then after the match is over, they can sit down and evaluate alone first, and then together with their parents, and then eventually together with the coach, if she or he have been watching the match, what kind of grade are they going to give themselves in that particular controllable, in that particular bullet point that they decided to focus on during the match. So yes, the first one is about hitting the serve with spin, maybe reducing pace, making sure that they keep that continental grip. Now the second goal, let's say we are still working with this junior on having some stable, consistent routines on the return, which include a split step as the opponent is hitting the ball. So that's going to be one of our controllables. And then we're going to evaluate out of 10 how much do we give ourselves, what's our grade on that aspect. The last one, it's a behavioral focus point. Classic under 10, classic under 12 unexperienced player with the opponent making a double fault and screaming, "Come on!" We don't like that, and somehow we gotta teach the players not to do that. And that's why in this focus point we have, for example, make positive reactions only after making a winner or forcing an error, and we discuss also what does it mean forcing an error in the charting videos. So yes, 3 focus points. One is more technical, but again is not focused, it's subtle, it's small differences, but it's not keep the continental grip, because then they're going to focus on the how they hold the racket, but instead they're going to focus on the outcome as far as generating spin. Okay, so they have a more out of body idea of what they want to do. Return routine with a split step, that's something that can be done 100% of the time if they are well focused and they are being taught well how to refocus in between points. And the last one, a behavioral focus point that we decided to assign to our younger junior. Moving on to a more experienced player. Let's say now we have control of our technique. We have our strokes clean, and we are starting to focus more on where we are gonna hit our shots. Again, the shots that we can control the most is our serve. Of course, we are the ones tossing the ball up. And let's say the first focus point, once again, same method, out of 10, how many points are we gonna get out of 10? The first one is gonna be hitting the first serve at the body, so making big targets on red light points. And again, on this video we can go a little more in detail on about what are red light points. Carlos Goffi stolen the concept from him, a lot of people did. A red light point is danger zone, is 30 all, 30-40, 40-30, deuce, add out, add in, all the final points of the game. We really wanna play our best play at that point of the game, so we are gonna serve the first serve at the body, give ourselves a big target, and focus on that. Second one, more tactical, more, how can I say, yes, tactical, but also like target-wise, focus point, returning and going to the net on the second serve. Let's say we are still working maybe with a junior, under 14 level, the second serves, they are not massive kicks, so we can really take advantage of those second serves and take it as an approach shot and go to the net at least once a game. Okay, so we start putting some railways, some bumpers of, okay, what do we want to, how many times do we want to do it? It cannot be every time, but if you do it once a game, every single game, then you get a 10 out of 10, and that's it. Alright, the last one, behavioral focus point, head of the racket up, between points. Confident fighter image, often we see some younger juniors, some inexperienced players, also some adults with a bit of an attitude. I mean, I'm guilty of that myself. Maybe not in this specific one, but I do a lot of wrong things. But again, like getting really down ourselves, slouching with the shoulder, head of the racket pointing down and going around like our goldfish just died, and we don't want to do that. So we want to keep the head of the racket up, above the wrist, in between points, and show a confident fighter image. Again, Jim Loehr, sports psychologist, maybe the first of his kind, 16-second cure. You know, confident fighter image, up with the chest, up with the racket, chin up, and really showing to the opponent that it's like, I'm here to compete. I'm not gonna let it slide. I'm gonna fight for every point. So that's something that can be controlled, your attitude on the court. Those are our three focus points for the more experienced player. And again, as soon as the point is over, as soon as the match is over, then we gotta evaluate, of course, and decide when do we want to have the talk with the player, or with the daughter, or with the son, about how the match went. And we need to be smart about it. And again, stealing lots of good ideas from Adam Blicker about this idea, really being able to read, okay, do I need to have the talk now? Can I have the talk like in 2 hours after dinner? I really don't want to feel like if I have an 11-year-old kid that is really disappointed and maybe finish the match crying, I don't want to jump on them and say, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Take it easy, let them take their time, and then as a starting point, you can use the focus points and then evaluate. What grade do you give yourself from 1 to 10? What grade would I give you from 1 to 10 on those controllables? And then let's discuss, why is it a 7 and not a 5? What did you do well? And how can we get up to a 9? What are you going to do next time? So really shifting the focus already on how is it going to be the next match? What are we going to do? So that's super important to have a focus point that is a part of the controllables, because winning and the losing, oftentimes, way too often, I mean, I've been guilty of that myself, but it's way too often we go on the court and we have no idea what we want to do, we just want to win. And then, what happens if you lose? Then, didn't go well. So it's really important to have something that even if we lose 6-love, because we played against 15 UTR that is playing, top 100 in the world, yeah, we're gonna lose, it can happen. But if I do what I'm what I set myself to do and I do it well, then I can still get a 10 out of 10 and have a successful match even though I lost. So that's important to instill that mentality, that progress, that focus on your own progress, focus on your own development from the very start of competition tennis. Because otherwise, yes, it's true, lots of kids, if they don't start competing, then they quit the sport, so it's important to introduce competition, but there is also the side that says, okay, 2 out of 3 kids after their first tournament are going to be so disappointed that they're going to stop playing tennis. So we need to be smart about how we want to approach competition. Yes, last part of the presentation is just giving some ideas on more target goals, behavioral goals and tactical goals that we can use during our matches, that we can suggest to our sons, to our daughters, to our players, to ourselves if we go out and compete. So yes, I'm not gonna stay and read through all of them because you can also find them in the description. Hopefully you can read them here as well. I'm just gonna skim through it. +1, Craig O'Shaughnessy was the +1, the shot after the serve or the shot after the return if I'm returning. High percentage play cross. Target zone to the middle. Give yourself a target height over the net. Green light points. What are green light points? The opposite of red light points. So if I'm up 40 love, no troubles. I can play a lower percentage play. So I can afford to take some risk to do something I wouldn't do if it was 30 all points. So hopefully it makes sense. Directions. Maybe with a higher level junior, we want to say, okay, now we got to start winning some free points with the serve. Okay, so really, at least twice a game, you got to pop it. You got to pop the first serve. Doesn't matter if you miss it, just pop it twice a game. And yes, directionals, like don't keep, maybe you have an opponent that is 20 kilos overweight, and then you say, well, I'm not going to play in the same corner for more than twice, so I got to make them run a bit. Or maybe they're really dominating the court with their forehand, so you got to switch it around. Big V, small V, what are the patterns? Again, there is more on that on the coaching workbook, but big V, you serve wide, play the next to the open court. Small V, serve T, play the next to the open court again. So different points, different situation, but again, you can control the targets, you can control the patterns that you play. Next on, behavior. Routines. Tennis is a sport of routine, and routines can be learned, okay? So it's a matter of, it's not fair to say, okay, someone is mentally tough and someone is mentally soft or mentally weak. Everything is a skill, and skills can be learned, and we need to give our players a chance to learn how to be better. And it's not innate, it's work, it's routines, and this can, go into the towel as soon as you lose 2 points in a row to stop the momentum, to reset, to refocus, is a skill, can be learned, okay? So it's not that anybody is suddenly the best in the world at cancelling the next point and cancelling the previous point and focusing on the next one. So it is a skill. Belly breathing, using the air, taking time doing the changeover. So many times I see younger kids just rushing through, not even drinking when they start losing, spiraling down. Sit down, breathe, reset, decide what you want to do on the next game, on the next point. Be a thinker on the court. Okay, I'm not a big fan of coaches being able to say what to do from the sideline, because that's the beauty of the game, being able to problem solve yourself when you're on the court. It's like playing chess while running. That's awesome. So yes, don't let the racket touch the ground. Don't cuss. Those things can be controlled. Okay, and of course you can. If you throw the racket down 2 times, that's a 4 out of 10. If you throw it down after every single point, that's a 0 out of 10. So again, there is a margin of what you did in a way, and what you could have done worse, and what you could have done better. So yes, that's some behavioral goals. Looking at the strings, those juniors that they're waiting for the opponents and they're looking at the butterflies. No, let's stay focused, think about what to do next point. Again, Jim Loehr, 16 seconds cure, go on YouTube, watch the video. It's nothing new. I mean, there's nothing original over here. It's everything stolen, okay? So, yes, Doubles, support the doubles partner, 3 seconds rule, point is over, run, give a fist bump. Okay, partner before the ball. Okay, run, support your partner, even if they make a double fault, even if they miss an easy shot. Go, fist bump, next point. Okay. Last one, tactical goals. Serve and volley once a game. Why not? Okay, if you have a good serve, if you're learning how to come to the net, it's a green light point. Go forward. Okay. Focusing on not missing wide, different mistakes. Tennis is a sport of mistakes. You want to do the least dumb mistake. Okay, so if you're inside the court and you're approaching and you miss long, that's not that smart. It's okay, you're trying to open up the court, miss it wide. If you are 3 meters behind the baseline and you miss in the net, that's not so clever. Okay, so you really you're gonna do some mistakes. It's a matter of doing the better mistakes over and over so we can improve. In general, you're working on the drop shot, hit at least 3 drop shots per set. Crush and rush. What's crush and rush? Hit the return big with topspin and go forward. Back in the day it was chip and charge. Some people still do it. Wish it was more, but it's fun. Doubles, specific. Doing affirmation. Again, you find it more on the coaching workbook. What's an affirmation? Make an eye, serving player, net player, communicate, create some confusion, some chaos. Yes, returning to the net player, down the line, during the first game, and then poaching on green light points. It's 40 love, let me go for it, let me try to put the opponents, put some doubts in the opponent's mind. Maybe I'm gonna poach, maybe I'm not, maybe I'm gonna return down the line, maybe I'm not. So really use tennis as a sport of deception. You want to try to, especially playing doubles, that's the funniest part, but yes, there is so many little goals that can be used, and then after the match to be able to sit down and evaluate and say, did I do a good enough job or not on those controllables? Okay, because if we go in the court just hoping that we're gonna win, it's tricky, really tricky. And tennis is a tough sport. 4 milliseconds with the ball on the strings. So it's we really wanna support our behavioral, our mental game, our tactical game. Give ourselves some targets that we can decide upon before playing the match, during the match, and especially after the match. So I hope this helps. You find the presentation in the description. Let me know if you have any questions, and yes.